In the film world, we're constantly juggling things. Anything that adds friction just ruins the flow. You've got to find and stay in a flow state. You're problem solving live and adapting on the fly. And for that, you need efficient tools. Gear that works with you, not against you. If your setup slows you down, you're not going to be producing your best work. So today I want to talk about a piece of gear that I think is essential for a lot of different sets, and that's a video-focused backpack, specifically the OnePro Flex by PGYTECH. Originally, I ran into PGYTECH at NAB, and up until that point, I hadn't heard or known much about the company, but there was a couple things that I was really impressed with. One was their backpacks, and two was this unique card reader / case combo. I ended up picking up one off of Amazon whenever I got home for my FX3 and FX6, and then eventually I picked up another one for my Burano because it uses the CFB instead of the CFA. Now, what's cool about these cases is one, they're water resistant, two, they have a card reader built in with a built-in cable, and then three, they are able to read both CFA or CFB, depending on which case you get, as well as SD, and they have storage slots for all of those. I have a project coming up in a few months that will require quite a bit of hiking, and I'll share more on that as it kind of develops, but that being said, I wanted a backpack that would fit that style of shoot. I have a few different video-focused backpacks, but they all wear really heavy and the weight distribution isn't great. It just feels like everything just rests right on my shoulders. So I wanted a backpack that was designed for hiking and could help take the load off of my shoulders. That being said, I've become online friends with a few people at PGYTECH, and through some conversations, they ended up sending me this bag. Now, as always, I'm not here to sell anything. I just want to talk about how I've used it on set, how I see it being used on other sets, and my initial impressions with its quality. This is the PGYTECH OnePro Flex, specifically the 40 liter. And without exaggeration, it is the best build quality and attention to detail that I've ever seen in a video-focused backpack. If I had to sum it up in a thought, it feels like an expert in hiking backpacks met with an expert in video-focused backpacks and created this. It's a hiking backpack that has filmmakers top of mind. Now, the first thing that jumped out to me was the aluminum frame on the back. What it really helps with is weight distribution on your shoulders, especially if you use the belt strap. If you tighten it, it helps relieve a lot of that pressure off your shoulders and puts that weight onto your hip. The best way I can describe the back of this backpack is like a Herman Miller chair. It's got a very breathable fabric on the back, but it's still supportive and it fits the curvature of your spine well. And if I understand correctly, it's a patented design. Throughout the backpack, you'll also see the mindfulness and thoughtfulness that the company had when choosing the materials for the bag, like the Cordura fabric, YKK zippers, the proper amount of padding and material selections for the shoulder straps, as well as the clips. This backpack is made from Cordura fabric, and if you don't know much about Cordura fabrics, they're a company that makes very high-end, tough fabrics for a range of different applications. In addition to being made out of very high-end fabrics, the fabric is also coated in PU, which helps with water and dust. It's got YKK zippers throughout the bag, and YKK is synonymous with the best zippers in the industry. Now, the zippers on the front of the bag claim to be waterproof, which I assume they're very water resistant. I don't know about waterproof. I would assume if there's a very, very hard rain that water would eventually get through, but the bag also includes a free waterproof cover, so that's super, super handy in the event that you're hiking and the rain comes down. It's got really unique clips as well. Some of them are magneted, and then some of them are thinner than what I've seen in the past, but are all rigid and work extremely well. It's got two grab handles on the bag, which I trust to support the entire payload, and the stitching on the bag feels overbuilt in a good way. Overall, the aesthetic of the bag is very, very good, and the branding is very minimal. It's got a sleek, good silhouette. Briefly, I want to talk about the comfort and ergonomics of the bag. If you're familiar with different hiking backpacks, you'll be pretty familiar with this system, but if you come from a long list of video backpacks like I did, there's some really cool things about this. So my favorite feature about the backpack for comfort is the adjustable shoulder height straps. For me, I lowered the shoulder straps, and combined with a tight waist belt, it really helps put that weight onto your waist. And that's something that's pretty rare in a lot of video-focused backpacks. Even though I haven't even hiked with this backpack yet, just going through airports and longer location days, that's something that's already been a benefit and something that's really helped improve my experience on set. Let's talk about layout, access, and storage of the bag. On the top, you have an expandable pocket. That pocket also has an additional pocket on the inside and is accessible from the outside and the inside. On the front of the bag, you have an elastic strap, and underneath that strap, you have an additional storage area, which you could fit a gimbal or a lot of different accessories. And underneath that, you have a pocket that pops out for tripod feet. in case you wanted to store a tripod there. Now, moving on to the side of the bag, you have an additional storage pocket as well as a quick access pouch. Now, to the right side of the bag, you also have another place for a tripod, but you've also got a really cool side access to the main compartment of the backpack, which integrates perfectly with their camera inserts. Inside that pocket, you'll also find a storage area for batteries. What's really cool about storing your batteries here is that it has a place to indicate whether the batteries are charged or discharged. On the front, you've got 2 different shoulder straps as well as a waist strap. Now, just a note, the shoulder straps are made out of a very breathable and comfortable fabric and are adequately cushioned. On the left strap, you've got a few different mounting points, and on your right strap, you've got an additional pocket, which is super handy for small tools. Your chest strap is on a rail, so you can adjust it for your comfort. On your waist strap, you've got a mesh pocket on your left-hand side, as well as some mounting points on your right-hand side. Now let's move to the inside of the bag. To get into the bag, you've got a zipper as well as 2 different clips, and that's something that I really appreciate. I would never expect the zipper to fail, but eventually everything will fail, so I appreciate the redundancy on the clips. In case you were out on location and you needed to hike back, you have the clips as redundancy if your zipper did in fact break. Now moving on to the inside, on the left hand side you've got your laptop and tablet holder, which can fit up to a 16-inch laptop. And on the right hand side, I've got the medium camera insert, and this is something that I think is really special about this bag. So this camera insert can be taken completely out and used as a sling bag, and there's many travel shoots where I need a sling bag as well as a camera backpack to transfer the big stuff, and then when I'm on set, I just need a smaller bag to be running around with. So being able to remove the compartmentalized section of the backpack and use that as a sling bag is super handy, especially on a lot of my tourism and run and gun work. Another cool thing about the compartment is it integrates in the bag in a few different ways. If you know that you're always going to be opening your bag, you can store the lid on the laptop sleeve. And if you know that you're going to be using the side access pocket a lot, you can store the lid inside of that. After using this bag for about a month, what are my overall thoughts on it? Well, one, it's very good build quality. There's no question about that. In fact, it may be the best in class. It's got a very efficient and fast layout for filmmakers with the full open and side access. You can tell that they put a lot of thought into filmmaking workflows. And then lastly, it's very comfortable. The way that they have weight distribution and they put the laptop closer to your body rather than all the way out, and then the integration of the aluminum frames and higher quality fabrics makes this feel like a very high quality bag. Overall, I've used backpacks for a majority of my life and film specific backpacks for the last decade or so. At this price point, you expect quality and that's what you get. I know it's hard to understand without getting your hands on it, but if you're in the market for a new film backpack, this one's definitely worth considering. My name's Keaton and I'm sharing my journey and what I've learned along the way. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue growing together, consider subscribing. This is just the beginning of the conversation.